Tigana continues to gorge on the water from the oasis, pouring it on the floor to create muddy puddles to gleefully jump in. Out of desperation, Marco pushes the caravan on overnight, gradually inching towards the scrotum-shaped oasis. As the caravan stops for a rest, the travellers indulge in a game of Where's Tigana? In the TARDIS, the Doctor is woken from a particularly strange dream, where he was being featured in the video for Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Relax by water dripping on him. He wakes Susan so they can collect the thirst-quenching goodness that's running down the walls. The Doctor and Susan leave the TARDIS with their wet bounty, only for Marco to react with considerable and understandable suspicion and ingratitude. After riling up the already angry Marco to a point of apoplexy by confusing him with unexplained terminology, the Doctor steps back so Ian can put his teacher skills to use by giving him a toddler's lesson on condensation. Once calmed, Marco tells Ian to drink it first, as the last thing they need is a bout of dysentery running through the caravan. Arriving at the oasis, Ian's stool's mercifully solid, meaning they could share the water around. They are greeted by Tigana. He claims he had to hide from bandits, and just as he was about to head back, as luck would have it, the caravan arrived. Barbara clearly doesn't believe a word of it. Marco insists they move on quickly, but Barbara wants to enjoy some time by the water. She's already climbed a particular rock by scrawling a Union Jack on it. Tigana tries to sow doubt about the condensation forming in the TARDIS, but if he really thinks they're evil spirits, surely such a conjuration would be easy for them. It's almost like he's picking and choosing what to believe to suit his own agenda. The Doctor thinks he can fix the broken TARDIS circuit in a week. Barbara informs them they're staying the night. Then she puts Ian's earlier detective skills to shame by pointing out the lack of evidence of any bandit activity.
Last night was very cold, but there's no sign of a fire having been lit. But I think Tigana just used the bandits as an excuse for not coming back to us with water.
Ian reacts with typical hurt masculine pride and demands a second opinion from someone with a penis. The definitely trustworthy Tigana. Unfortunately for Ian, Tigana is joined by Marco, who unwittingly corroborates Barbara's own deductions.
How many bandits were there here last night? 12. It was a cold night. Didn't they light a fire?
If they had him, the remains would still be visible.
Marco insists on the Doctor giving him the TARDIS key back. No more slacking off in there for the clearly capable old chancer. After a much needed overnight oasis break, the caravan heads to the city of Tun Wang. The TARDIS is set up in the courtyard of another service station, this one offering overnight accommodation and tourist trips. Marco tells of a nearby cave, the Cave of 500 Eyes, reeling off its history with the practised perfection of a tour guide.
Have you heard of the Cave of 500 Eyes?
No, I haven't. I do not know that one either, Mr. Marco. I'm intrigued by this cave, Marco. Why is it called 500 Eyes?
On the walls are painted the faces of 250 evil men who once lived there. They were the Hashashins.
Hashashins?
Yes, and they were so called because they used the drug hashish.
Susan's interest is noticeably piqued at the mention of hashish. She's clearly disappointed to learn the caves are now empty. Ping Chow knows a story from those times, but needs to prepare before telling it. It appears she's the first method actor. She'll be insisting everyone calls her Hula Goo and treats her like a great conqueror next. The Doctor is keen to carry on work in the TARDIS, revealing to Ian that the key he gave Marco was a forgery he made in the ship. Barbara tries to tell Ian she suspects Tigana is up to no good, but Ian isn't remotely interested as his favourite show is about to start. Ping Chow tells her story as a one-woman show.
Gracious maidens, gentle lords, pray attend me while I tell my tale of Aladdin, the old man of the mountains, who by devious schemes, evil designs and foul murders rule the land. No host of arms, no vast array of banners served this wicked lord. There were but few, ruthless, reckless men who obeyed his cruel commands. Thus did he persuade them. Promising paradise, he gave his followers a potent draught, and whilst they slept, transported them to a vale where streams of milk and honey, wine and water flowed. Here were gardens and flowers of every hue and essence. Here too golden pavilions outshone the sun, and even the stars of heaven envied the bejeweled interiors, strewn with incomparable silks, tapestries, and treasures. Handmaidens, dulcet voice, soft of face, attended them, and thus bemused did they dwell in this man-made paradise, until Aladdin, intent upon some evil deed, proffered again the hashish draught, and brought them sleeping to his castle. What, Lord? Are we cast out of paradise, awakening, they cried? Not so. Go abroad, seek out my enemies, and strike them down. But care not for your lives. Paradise is eternal. So terror stalked the land for many years. Then one day came mighty Hulagu to stand before Aladdin's lair for 3 long years in siege. Thus fell Aladdin and his men. Now honest hands reap harvests of life from the soil where death and evil reigned, and those who journey through the veil are heard to say, "'Tis truly paradise today."
And at the end, Ian gives Susan a quick note that the name Hashashin became assassin. Barbara sees across the room, once again Ian stealing her thunder and trying to outdo her with historical facts and linguistics.
Ping Chow, is the lair of Aladdin near here? No, Susan, it was on a mountain called Mount Alumat in Persia. Persia? But Master Marco said that Hulagu killed some Hashashins near here.
So he did, Susan. Some of Aladdin's followers lived near here. The cave of 500 eyes.
Tigana, not being interested in the arts, the Philistine, goes to the cave of 500 eyes. He calls for Malik, who comes coughing and shuffling out of the shadows. Clearly there is still some hashish being consumed on the site. Malik turns a stalagmite, opening a secret entrance to an inner chamber. Inside the secret chamber is part-time bandit and full-time pub folk singer Akromat.
Akromat.
What news from Nogai?
He has formed his army and marches now for Karakorum,
God!
where he will await news of your success.
I will not fail him.
You failed at Lob. You were to meet our courier on the third night in the desert.
There was a sandstorm.
He did not return.
Before the courier left, he spoke of gift to Nogai.
Yes. Caravan that flies. It belongs to an old magician who accompanies us. Polo's taking it to the Kubla Khan.
With such a caravan, Nogai would be invincible.
Yes. That is why you must capture it. You will attack our caravan as we're going to Shantu.
That shall be done.
And then deliver it to Nogai.
And Polo and those that go with him, what of them? Kill them?
Of course.
A disgusted Malik asks Tigana if a woman has accompanied him to their man cave. It appears Barbara has followed Tigana to the caves, or she's just doing the tourist thing and checking out the sights. Disappointingly, the only juices the cave gets flowing are the runs running down its own dank walls. A disappointed Barbara heads back towards the outside world. She screams as the drummer from Akrumat's band grabs her. Later, at the Tunwang services, an annoyed Marco arranges search parties to look for the missing Barbara. The Doctor and Susan are left behind as Ian, Marco and Tigana head out. The Doctor is disappointed as there was one particular area he wanted to check out. Probably not appropriate for the definitely 16-year-old Susan though. At the cave, Akrumat's Midnight Raiders are playing games to see who will get to kill Barbara. At the services, the Doctor sneaks out to the TARDIS. He's unnecessarily startled by Susan and Pink Cho, who have figured out Barbara might have gone to the Cave of 500 Eyes, due to her being into history and stuff.
We think we might know where Barbara is.
Oh, where?
Messer Marco was telling us about the Cave of 500 Eyes.
Yes, and Barbara was very interested, so we thought she might have gone off there to look without asking anybody, because Messer Marco might have tried to stop her.
Do you know where this Cave of 500 Eyes is?
I do not know, my lord, but Chen Chu would know.
And how long have you been lurking there?
I arrived this very moment, my lord.
Where's the Cave of 500 Eyes?
My God, are they going for the bloody record on this episode or something? The Doctor, Susan and Pink Chow bugger off to the caves. At the caves, Susan and Pink Chow critique the artwork on the cave walls, while the Doctor admires how they've skillfully incorporated the quartz veins. The Doctor decides to hunt for spirits. Either type will do. Back at the services, Chen Chu tells the recently returned Tigana that the Doctor has gone to the caves to look for Barbara.
What cave?
He forced me, my lord. He forced me.
What cave?
The Cave of 500 Eyes.
At the caves, and with no sign of either Barbara or any ghosts, an irritated Doctor insists they head back so he can get back to fiddling with his box. They find Barbara's hanky on the floor and begin calling out to her. Barbara was starting to regret agreeing to let the gang's beautician try out his new beef-based lip filler on her, as she's now prevented from responding to the Doctor's calls. Susan screams that something moved.